Good afternoon, everybody. Sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Friday, August 12th, 2022. My co host, Mr. Riley Magnuson from the Windy City. We were just talking a few seconds ago. 100% transparency. I retired from drinking 10 and a half years ago. There's a man called Tony La Russa that wants me back in the game. Let me just tell you that. What the are you? What? Bases loaded, no outs, no runs. First and third, one out, no runs. Guy on second, one out, no runs. Guy on third, two outs, no runs. Cease allows a homer to Vinny Pazienza. I didn't know he came out of box, and I mean, what? It just listen. You only can go to the well one too many times. I mean, sometimes you just got to say enough's enough. I'm looking at them again tonight, and I've been actually against Kopech for a while because his command has been awful, awful, awful. And then the White Sox have scored, 10 in the first, and they'll laugh at me. So I'm not one of those guys to go back and forth and flip-flop. I save the flip-flops for the beach on the Cape. Packers tonight against 49ers. Opened at 3, now 2.5 under, over 35 and a hook. Our Packers inside already. We'll talk a little about that. But right now, baseball, guys, I don't want to say it's Chinese, it's Braille. Listen, we're 3-3 this week. I'm grateful for that. But it's hard. They are pricing us out of so many opportunities. And I talk about landmines versus gold mines. And there's just landmines everywhere. And the things that you do expect don't happen. And the things that you expect to happen also don't happen. So it is what it is. It's Friday. It's payday. It's Fade the Public Friday. It's don't be that guy with the cold pizza at 11 o'clock and the wife calling you. And you get home and the lights are out and your pillow and your blankets on the couch. Don't be that guy. But without further ado, let's bring him in from the Windy City itself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, my brother?
My friend, happy Friday. It is good to see you. You're leading me into it, but it is cheering me up to be on your show and see after what the White Sox have been doing to me. But nonetheless, it's a happy Friday. I'm good. We've got some baseball action tonight. We've got some more preseason action after last night. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about the White Sox. I reached a new level of being pissed off yesterday for many different reasons. The lack of effort and the terrible hitting approach at the plate was as frustrating as it's been all season long. So that wasn't a shock by any means or even a surprise whatsoever. And it's frustrating every single time. But I reached a new level of being pissed off at Tony La Russa over the last 48 hours. On Wednesday night, one of the things I've been questioning all season long is at times the effort of this team. And on Wednesday night, you finally have 36. This might not have even hit national news. If you're a White Sox fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, it probably didn't reach national news. Wednesday night, Johnny Cueto, 36-year-old, by far the most experience on this team in the MLB, has been to the playoffs with 3 different organizations, I think, won a damn World Series. And in the least defamatory way possible, kind of lightly questions the fire of this team. I don't know the exact, the person talking to him was Spanish-speaking, so I don't know exactly what he asked him. But Johnny Cueto was like, yeah, we can't really get complacent. We got to, show the fire of this team if we have any. Like I said, in the least defamatory way possible, I probably sound a little more aggressive right there than he did. And so finally, someone that has been around the block in this league, at least from a player standpoint, obviously, rightfully questions the fire of this team. And then yesterday before the game, about 12 hours after that, Tony La Russa basically shuts it down and kind of defends the team and says, I was surprised to hear him say that, this and that. And so when you have your manager affirming the level of energy that this team is showing, as much blame as you can put on the players when the manager is backing up your poor performance and lack of energy, it's hard to question what the players are doing because the manager is affirming that. And then after the game, he tries to defend the energy of the team again and saying, well, we had 14 hits. Typically that translates to wins. But you and I, as we saw, the first 7 innings, it was 9 hits, 0 freaking runs. And it was finally when they were down 4-0. Dylan Cease was fantastic again. Then they go down 4-0. And Yasmani Grandal, who hasn't hit a home run in 3 months, almost exactly 3 months, bat flips after he hits a home run down to go down 4-2. I don't want to even speak that man's name again right now. I am so pissed off and sick of hearing him. But nonetheless, as far as going back to the Johnny Cueto thing, said, I wish we would have kept that in house when the same guy over a year ago publicly questions Yermin Mercedes hitting a 3-0 beach ball from a position player. So we've got a delusional man at the helm right now, and I'm absolutely sick of it. Like I said, I was actually pissed off yesterday, and that doesn't even mention the hitting stats that I showed you and Scotty Webb when we were talking on Twitter. For those who didn't see it, over 70% of the White Sox hits right now are singles. I think it was since 2015, about 5 teams in the major leagues have done that. I think 4 of those were under 70-win teams. One of them was 79-win teams, and now obviously you have the White Sox sitting at 500. What I didn't share, I don't know if you saw this, 3 of those 5 teams were the Miami Marlins. Frank Minichino was the hitting coach of those teams. He is the current hitting coach for the Chicago White Sox. So he is about to own 4 of the 6 teams that have had 70 or more % of their hits as singles in a damn season. And it as you can see from the list, does not translate to any type of success whatsoever. This would be the most successful team that would be on that list. So, rant over for now. I am sick of it. We got the Detroit Tigers coming into town tonight, who are obviously one of the colder teams in the league. So maybe we can put something together tonight, like you said. But nonetheless, I am at a loss for. I guess I'm not at a loss for words, but I'm almost at a loss for words right now with this team and this organization, man. I can't take it anymore, and you're rightful to be pissed off if you're betting on them on any given day. So, I advise to probably just stay away because I don't see any way that it's going to change as far as the energy or any lack of accountability. I don't think it's going to change. So, I think they'll still tread water and be around 500 if they can't get a nice win streak going here. But nonetheless, it is driving me absolutely insane, Jeff Dawson.
Well, you know what? It's funny because when I made a couple of comments to Scotty, he kind of tried to put me in my place. And I was like, well, no Tim Anderson now sick for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
I think he's the straw that stirs the pot. And he countered me real quick. Well, they still got Luis Roberts. And I was like, yeah, but when you can have a Tim Anderson with a Luis Roberts with an Abreu, and then you put some of the power hitters. I'm going to go back to your singles, all right? Your team is built with that so much speed that you have. Those singles turn to first and thirds. That's then when you hit the gap shot or the homer for the 3-run homer. I heard and I saw on Twitter, I didn't see the play, Moncada not running the ball out again. So there is a lot of reason why there is a lack of fire. And I take my hat off to someone like Johnny Cueto that they just bring over because he's the fresh eyes in the clubhouse. He's, and you got a division. Nothing against Minnesota, nothing against Cleveland, but it's there for the taking.
It's the most winnable in baseball by far. It's the most winnable division by far in baseball. That's the other part that keeps me staying and watching and the talent that's on the team. But, I mean, I love Luis Robert. I still contend that with the right leadership, he could be an MVP candidate one day. But his lack of effort is fully on display as well, along with Moncada, who has been playing really well at third base. We've had a couple laughs at his expense the last couple of months, but he's been playing a really solid third base. But just wildly inconsistent at the plate and the lack of effort when it comes to hustling. And so, while we've had a lot of injuries due to, running down first baseline and whatnot, if there is no hustle, then there's, it doesn't really matter if you're staying healthy or not because you're just not playing energetic baseball. And you said it, yeah, Tim Anderson is really the only player on that team that I would be happy with that level of, singles compared to the rest of his hits. But guys like Luis Robert, who hits the shit out of the ball, should not be hitting 100, 70+% of singles out of his hits. He needs to be driving the ball in the damn air. And you tell me, if you're a front office that has any baseball smarts and you see a list like that where your hitting coach is about to have 4 out of 6 seasons with 70% of their hits coming as singles, how does that not immediately get the can, especially when you're watching what we're watching? Because I don't really see how it doesn't. Forget Tony La Russa in this conversation. If you've seen that from a hitting coach, how do you not give him the boot right away when you see that type of stat?
Well, tells me that the GM upstairs is sleeping at the wheel, because all the experts, all of us have been calling for Tony's head months and months in advance, and we know he's not going to fire him for the second time. He felt ill-willed and saddened that he did it once, and he said he'd never do it again. Never should have been hired, first of all, but that's for another story. And with that said, that would have been the perfect out, is to bring up that stats and stuff to the GM, which he should already know. You fire the hitting coach first. It puts a fire in the belly of the rest of the team, like, shit, we're costing someone his job, his livelihood, his family. It's time to put, the pedal to the metal here. And I still don't want to count this team out. I could see them in the last 49 games putting together, one of those, 35 and 14 runs, something stupid. They have the pitching, they have the back end, they have the hitting that they could run away and hide. And they're allowing the Twins and the Guardians just to hang around.
Right. And the Guardians are playing well right now. The Twins are, I mean, as far as the time to go, the Cleveland Guardians are the ones that are taking control of it right now. The Twins are slumping a little bit right now, or regressing record-wise. Obviously, they just ran into the Dodgers. But, the White Sox are 3.5 games out of first place all of a sudden. They were a game and a half a couple days ago. So, that's the reason I'm still hanging on to hope as far as the AL Central, and still watching this team almost every single day. Sometimes I decide to bow out for a day. Maybe tonight is one of those cases after yesterday, but nonetheless, it's gotten to a high point as far as insanity for us White Sox fans right now, and I'm hoping they can dig us out this weekend.
Well, we'll give you something a little fresher air to talk about before we dive into the MLB. There are a handful of NFL games tonight. There's some money coming in on the Jets as we speak. They have now gone to 1-point favorites. I'll give the Hard Knocks people an applaud, because the Lions are now 2.5-point favorites. But our friend SoCal D-Gen has put up, I think Atlanta's like 1-17 their last 18 in preseason games there. Now, with that said, I talked to Scotty about this. Don't forget, that's Matt Ryan, that's Julio Jones, and all those guys. So, they weren't pressing the metal. They weren't all in. They probably weren't playing a lot of those games there. The Cleveland Browns in Jacksonville, that's about to be a shit show. As now Deshaun has decided that he will take whatever the NFL is throwing. I was on record a few weeks ago with Andrew McGinnis stating that if I was the Browns, I would just have called up San Fran. I would have already had Jimmy G in tow. And I would say, hey, Jimmy, it's your show for the year. Deshaun, just clear this thing up. You're going to get a year suspension. Come back next year. We'll talk. But in your neck of the woods, we got, the NFC title game. For how many times are we going to talk about Green Bay and San Fran? Right now, line opened at 3, 2.5. San Fran, over of 35 and a hook. Who's playing? Who's not playing? What's the temperature in Lambeau Field?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a full update right now. No Rodgers tonight, and most likely no Rodgers in the preseason. I think he's already said publicly, Rodgers, that he doesn't see any reason to play in the preseason. It's been the case the last few years, hasn't played at all. So Jordan Love, I think it's Jordan Love versus Trey Lance tonight. So if you're, you're a fan of young quarterback potential and want to watch, then this one might be one of the ones to watch. The Packers should have a decent receiving core. I mean, if you've been paying attention at all, probably not going to have Allen Lazard, but after that, and Randall Cobb. But after that, a lot of guys that are trying to make a name and supplant themselves on this, as a factor in this roster. So I expect a decent offensive output. Jordan Love's been, getting positive feedback over the last week or two. But obviously, this defensive scheme could be tough for him. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. I think we should see a nice Jordan Love performance with the receivers that he's got in the first half, or however long he's playing. I'm not quite sure what we're going to see out of him for time-wise there. But nonetheless, I don't go too deep with preseason predictions and whatnot. But I think it should be a decent one, and I think we should see a decent offensive output from him and the Packers in at least the first half, or however long he is playing tonight.
It's a team I've been waiting for them to take a step back. In the last couple of years, especially, they've had egg on my face. I was doing a pilot with Dave Sharapan and Brady Tinker. I talked about Kirk Cousins as MVP, and they looked at me like I was, three sheets to the wind, or I was on that stuff that Aaron Rodgers was on, and I was tripping or whatever. But my thoughts is new OC, new head coach, are going to throw the shit out of the ball. I think Jefferson could be the number one wide receiver this year in fantasy and in the NFL. A defense that's going to be a lot better. They obviously have Dalvin Cook. The Packers, no Adams, but again, he just reloads. I mean, I get it. I think Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon will be catching a lot more passes this year. Tonyan will be back, whether it's week 1, week 4, week 6, however they play that. Defensively, they were getting better last year. I don't know what to expect from the Bears, and I think the Lions are going to be better this year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. As far as I can't really add too much from a Packers perspective. I mean, when we first opened up camp, and obviously throughout the entire offseason, it was like, who the hell is Aaron Rodgers going to be throwing to? Over the last couple of weeks, if you haven't been paying attention to training camp, the buzz around Romeo Doubs, not Christian Watson, he's coming up a little bit lately, but Romeo Doubs has been turning heads every single day at camp. Every couple of his years with these young receivers, Rodgers will drop one little nugget maybe to encourage somebody. But there's never been a rookie this young that he's almost on a daily basis talking up, and same with the coaching staff. So, as far as an emerging guy in this offense, if it's training camp hype, then it's training camp hype. But keep your eyes on Romeo Doubs, who I think is going to be in the game tonight, and you might get a decent look at him tonight. But aside from that, as the Vikings, it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of where you are. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins MVP, but I am the one thing that's worrying me as far as the Packers winning the division is maybe a Kirk Cousins career year type of season, and really could have this team. I mean, look, over the last 5 years, how many close games have they lost? So if this coaching staff comes in and turns that around, then we're going to be looking at a 10-11 win team pretty easy here, and maybe you wouldn't expect much out of them in the playoffs once they get there, but the NFC isn't that stacked. So I'm kind of with you there. And the Lions, I'm with you. I don't know what the ceiling for the Lions is going to be, but I'm with you as far as, and I was feeling this way before we just saw it on Hard Knocks, as far as Dan Campbell and the energy of that team. I don't know if I've ever seen a 3-win team last year fight as hard as they did to the bitter end of that season. And so I think they're going to be balls to the wall to at least on a week in and week out basis to be competitive. And as far as head-to-head against the Packers, even the last 2-3 years, they've given the Packers some hell in their couple of matchups per year. So I put the Lions pretty firmly at the 3 spot in that division, ahead of the Bears. And it wouldn't surprise me if they won 7-8 games, or even messed around with a decent schedule and won a few more. And challenging for the playoffs seems a little stretch, but I think they're going to be a tough, stingy team. I love the draft moves that they made. I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to be really solid, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm not sure exact pronunciation there, really came on at the end of the season last year. So it might be a question of, how good is Jared Goff going to be as far as what the ceiling of that team is. And if he's consistently decent, then I think they're going to be a respectable team. And then as far as the Bears, obviously I'm biased against the Bears, but I don't have the highest, expectations for them at all. I think they're going to be pretty damn bad. I think it could be a situation where, contrary to what we saw from the Lions last year, if things go south, I think they could be kind of throwing in the towel and putting up some poor performances in the second half when they kind of see where they're at in the division. So that's kind of where my quick nutshell thought on all 4 teams are. So I'm still optimistic that the Packers will take the division, but week 1 Packers Vikings is going to be a really, really important game. And as far as kind of what I was talking about with the preseason preparation, we saw the Packers last year week 1 against the Saints. Obviously, it was a little different. Aaron Rodgers didn't show up to camp until about this time last year, but the Packers did not get their starters ready whatsoever for that week 1 game against the Saints, and the Saints had a lot of their guys playing throughout the preseason, then they absolutely dominated them. So I'm curious to see if that type of approach this preseason is going to change now that game against the Vikings could be one of the more important games. Despite it only being in week 1, it could end up being one of the more important games of the damn season. So interested to see the ramp up here to that game as compared to last season, but still got decent high hopes. But I'm going to put the Packers and Vikings in the playoffs out of the NFC North as far as the quick recap there.
No, I definitely agree, and it's going to be interesting for sure. And a lot of these teams, I won't put the Packers in this statement, but it's the first month. Do you get off to that 3-1 start? Are you 2-2,
Yeah.
or do you start to look at 1-3 and 0-4? And we know what happens once you start a season like that. You usually don't come out of it. So it's definitely going to be interesting there. MLB tonight, we got the full slate. I prefaced it by stating it's Friday, it's payday, it's Fade the Public Friday. Vegas is really cutting us out of a lot of spots. You really can't get in there. Even first half minus hooks, full games minus 300s. I'm looking at team totals. I need a touchdown. Sometimes I need the touchdown with the extra point, yada, yada, yada. With that said, full slate ahead from my friend. I don't want anyone who's watching and listening right now to be the pizza man. Get in there, take your paycheck. Instead of heading home, tell the wife you're getting pizza. Then you head out and you got the early games going in there. You're chasing. You got the West Coast games. The pizza's on the oven. You get home. The lights are out. The pizza's cold, and your pillow and blanket is on the couch. So, what do you got today, sir?
Alrighty, my friend. Well, the first one I'm interested to hear your thoughts on, because this one, not an outrageous price by any means. This one is the first one up on the evening, starting in a couple of hours here. Atlanta and Miami, Odorizzi and Pablo Lopez. They're giving the Atlanta Braves, let me switch off the NFL real quick. Atlanta Braves about minus 140, 145 in this one. We've talked about Odorizzi a few times. I think this is his second start since coming over. 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs versus the Mets last time out. Pablo Lopez, 6 earned runs on 12 hits and 4 earned runs on 9 hits his last 2 times out. Atlanta, again, minus 140. Is this a spot? I believe, you can double check for me, but I believe I saw some pretty hefty money coming in on the Braves at that price. Is this a potential spot for a Fade the Public Friday and maybe Pablo Lopez bounce back, maybe a Fade Odorizzi type start here, or are the Braves just too good for the Miami Marlins to be interested in that one?
Couple with the starting pitch, and since Lopez's name was floated around the trade deadline, he has not been good, and I think he took it to heart. And Jake comes over. I think he had one good start, one bad start. Braves sweep the Red Sox. Had a day off yesterday. We know this Marlin team cannot score. Generally speaking, if Atlanta can get to 4 or 5, it's a win. I think it's priced for both sides of action. People think they're getting value with Miami. Maybe you get a bounce back with Lopez. I'm kind of torn here. I just think Atlanta has too much offense for this Miami team. It's going to be a pass for me.
I'm with you 100%. I was just seeing if there was any team totals that might interested in any way. But I think I'm with you 100%. It's going to be a tough one. Over 3.5 at plus 115 for the Marlins. Over 3.5 at minus 140 for the Braves. So I'm with you. I'm staying out of this one. But it's at least I was at least wondering if maybe a Fade the Public Friday spot interested you in this one. But I think it's too much of a toss-up, honestly.
I think the Vegas is just baiting you and telling you it's 4-3 Braves. That's what they're telling us. It's an over a 7 juiced over minus 20 cents. You can catch the Braves right now for the most part on the Vegas Strip minus 130. If you go to the Square Shop, William Hill 150, 140 at our friends right now from the Circa. If Lopez is on, you're going to get a good game. You're going to get that low scoring 3-2 game. If both pitchers are not on, when's the last time the Marlins scored 4 or more? I mean, it's been a while.
Right.
They're going to get the field goal most likely, but other than that, I think Atlanta will be looking in that 4, 5, 6 range, probably tiptoes over, but I'm going to stay away.
Nope, I'm with you 100%. Next one up is a pretty hefty line here. San Diego and Washington, Clevenger and Abbott for the Nationals. San Diego 2 straight wins after the rough struggles for a minute there. In Washington, obviously, probably the coldest team in all of baseball right now, unless I'm blanking on somebody. But Abbott was absolutely manhandled last time out. 7 earned runs, 4 home runs to the Phillies in his last outing. Clevenger 4 2/3 innings. 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Is this one all Padres, no doubt? And if so, is there any way to get into this one, or are you seeing something else as maybe some value on the Nationals in this one?
I'm eyeing Padres team total over 5.5 minus 110. I don't know what you're seeing in front of you. I saw that on Wager Talk earlier today. Again, you need the touchdown. You don't need the extra point, a 2-point conversion. It is Kyle. It's not Kyle Abbott, the one-armed bandit from the Yankees way back. Now we expect a little more positive from Abbott, but maybe San Diego has gotten some of the cobwebs out. Tatis 1 week away. I reached out to my San Diego connection earlier today. One more week for rehab for Tatis. Probably be back next weekend or the following Monday. So I think Padres get to 6 or better today.
I think I'm with you. On DraftKings, it's now up to -120 for the Padres, over 5.5. Over on FanDuel, you can still catch it at -112. Is this going to be Juan Soto to hit a home run? You hit it the other day. Juan Soto to hit, I'm not saying to take it. Is this going to be the most bet prop of all of baseball slate today? Juan Soto to hit a homer against his former team?
100% that is a yes. I don't know what the odds are. I guarantee you they're not giving it away. Probably around 200. Something stupid like that. I wouldn't be shocked if the manager says, just walk the damn fool 4 times.
Yeah. It's actually 250 on FanDuel and 295 on DraftKings. So if I'm with you, I'm not taking it. It is a little too good to be true for me on that one. But at least not terrible odds there as far as Juan Soto is concerned.
No, at all. And you're right. I did call it. I wouldn't be shocked if they're going to give you 250, 280. You want to do a little pizza and beer money for shits and giggles. No problem there. Manny's been hitting the crap out of the ball. I don't know what other lefty. What do you got for lefties on the San Diego roster today?
Let's see. Is there a lineup out yet? Let's see. You've got Druxen Profar as a switch hitter. He's leading off. Let's see. You already said Machado's righty. Josh Bell's a switch hitter. Drury is a righty as well. Cronenworth is a lefty, so that's not a terrible spot there either. But let's see. I think that might be it.
Oh,
Trent Grisham is also a lefty.
We could go for the combo here. You could go Soto, Josh Bell, right? Welcome back, Josh.
Oh, that's right. I guess I didn't even. I wasn't even considering that. Yeah. Maybe at some point in this year. I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not taking it, but I don't hate it if you're looking for something crazy here.
What is Josh Bell's odds?
330 on DraftKings, plus 330.
All right, so we're going to go with the welcome back combo with Soto and Josh Bell for homers tonight.
Okay, I like it. Let's get wild. I like it. That's a good one for Friday. Next one up, Cleveland and Toronto. We already mentioned it. Cleveland is hot right now. Toronto not playing fantastic baseball. Quantrill versus Barrios, however you want to say it. Barrios 5 earned run last outing. I don't have much of a feel for either of these guys, and it's going to keep me on the sidelines. But Toronto about -165. With the way both of these teams are playing, are you respecting that number, or is maybe the general public not aware of how either of these two teams are playing right now?
I think you nailed it. I think the fact is we know which Barrios you're going to get. We went against him his last outing, and we cashed there. Quantrill, I'm waiting for the SoCal DGen. Quantrill on the road when the team is, big underdogs is probably like 2 in a bazillion. I did catch something that did catch my eye. It's an under-over that opened at 9, now down to 8.5 over. Again, do we get the bad Barrios? I think you can get the Guardian team total over 3.5 for like -120 tonight, something like that.
I'd have to double check. I was looking. I mean, obviously, a lot of these. I mean, Barrios used to be in the division, so a lot of these guys have seen him quite a bit. But I mean, I think he's got decent numbers against them. Let's see if I can find the team total real quick. For the full game, Cleveland over 3.5 at -115 on DraftKings for the full game, over 3.5.
So you got to get to 4. They're playing great. Quantrill is known to give out a boatload too. Maybe it sneaks. So again, if you were looking for a little action there, I'm not going to play both sides. I'm going to use the value play. The value play is with the Guardians, but Toronto back home, they usually wake up. If you wanted to get in minus the hook first 5 and hope you got the real Barrios, that's fine. A run line even as well. Cleveland's back end has been okay, but like you said, they're playing pretty good. They're 59. How about this? I guarantee you, the public and the DGens don't know this. You ready?
Yeah.
Toronto 60-50. The Guardians 59-52. They got 1 less loss than them.
Yeah. And I mean, just looking at, I don't know if you have it, but I saw pretty hefty bet splits, at least ticket count on the Blue Jays, which I was surprised to see because I mean, obviously in my neck of the woods, I'm very aware of what Cleveland is doing. But yeah, the rest of the country, I'm 100% with you. The Toronto Blue Jays are, everyone loves that lineup and everyone loves to bet them. So it's going to keep me out of the. I mean, the question marks that I have for either of these guys on a start to start basis is going to be enough to keep me out of it. But at least something to keep an eye on. Sticking with my AL Central and my White Sox. I already talked about them at length, so I don't need to go too crazy here. And obviously, I am biased. But Detroit and the White Sox, Norris versus Kopech. I think this is Norris's first outing with the Tigers, which I don't know if this is going to be a bullpen day or if it's a actual start for him. And you mentioned it, Kopech's command has been off. He's been worked out of some of his starts that look good on paper. He's worked out of a lot of jams. But with this Detroit offense, the way they're playing, I kind of like his chances tonight to either not get into those jams or if he's into those jams, work his way out with the way this offense is. So I'm obviously too biased, but I'm sure this team has soured you. But any opinion if you had to do anything in this one?
You're supposed to have the White Sox minus the hook first 5. You're supposed to have the White Sox full game minus the run line. You're supposed to have the White Sox team total over tonight versus a lefty. They got me so bad yesterday. I'm going to leave it on the desk. Anyone watching and listening that cares, if you play all those 3, you can thank us later because we're not going to release them to the VIPs tonight.
Right. And I can't tell you how many times, and I'm going to not do it. And you're absolutely right. You can thank the both of us because both of us staying away from this one is going to lead to a certain win. I can't tell you how many times where it was like, this is the perfect spot for the White Sox. And I, for the most part, have stayed away from betting them. I got enough emotional capital on the line. And then there will be certain days like this where it's like, okay, there is absolutely no way this team is losing, and they find a way to do it. So I do believe they will get the win, having said all of that. But, yeah, I'm going to stay away from it. Next one up, going to New York. The Mets hosting the Phillies in this one. Total is at 7. Mad Max on the mound. Suarez for the Phillies. Phillies just snapped a 7-game win streak. The Mets are currently on a 6-game win streak. Is that ended win streak for the Phillies a spot where you're kind of your trend of if you had a long enough win streak and you lose one, you're going to lose 2 in a row? Or are you seeing something different with this divisional matchup here?
No, you're supposed to go to that, number 1. Number 2, I'll tell you the computer model was minus 160 overnight. And then the overnight actual number was 235. Number right now, 220, 230. It's Mad Max. We tried to go against them against the Braves last week, got egg on our face. We come back and go against DeGrom. We got egg on our face. I will just tell you this, buyers beware tonight. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not releasing the Phillies. Actually, hey, you talked about last week, the last show that we did. Our dog of the day was the Rockies, and they won. They put up a 12 spot, or they crushed the Cardinals. My dog of the day will be the Phillies tonight.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not against you by any means. That's it should be a close one. I could see a late late push from the Phillies if they can't get it done against Mad Max. So I definitely am not hating on you for that one at all. But we will move to your neck of the woods where you're currently sitting in front of. To quickly run the smile off of your face, the Yankees and Red Sox. Domingo Germán and Eovaldi for the Red Sox. Red Sox get the win against, I think it was Baltimore yesterday, right? And the Yankees are slumping right now. Were you surprised to see these odds, and does it give you any faith that maybe this could be a fade the public spot for the Red Sox, or you are not touching this team with a 10-foot pole right now?
I have zero faith in this team. Hey, we won a series. We won a 1-game series. We beat the Orioles last night. I'm just going to say, watching the market today, money's trickling on the Sox. I did see a flip in one spot. Where did I see it? Right there. South Point has flipped the game. Sox is a short favorite. Now, with that said, I'll just say this. Under over a 9, it's still a flat 9. Germán sucks right now, but I don't know what I'm going to get from Eovaldi, and I know our back end sucks. These games usually find a way to go over. The one thing that intrigued me in this game was Sox team total over 4.5. I think you can get that at plus money.
Yeah, I mean, this is only start number 5 for German. Yeah, I mean, he was okay last time out, but really still nothing special. Kind of labored through it for that one for sure. So I'm not touching it by any means. I could see this one. I mean, this is a spot where maybe you'll have egg on your face if you're taking the Red Sox and the Yankees wake up and look like the Yankees again. I mean, you're going to feel pretty upset at yourself if you do that. So I'll stay away from that one. Sticking in the same division, though, going to Tampa, Baltimore and Tampa. Just mentioned your Red Sox beat the Orioles yesterday. You got Voth on the mound and Kluber for the Rays in this one. Voth, since coming over to Baltimore, has been solid. Regressed a bit last time. Would you be expecting some more regression from him? I mean, he was a brutal. I'm drawing a blank on where he was before Baltimore. He was brutal, and now he's been solid over the last month or so with the Orioles. Would you expect some more regression, or you expect him to kind of stay consistent and be solid for this Orioles team right now?
Don't know if you're going to get Cy Kluber or not. Baltimore pesky, good spot for them and a bounce back. The problem with those games that you just played a 3-game set in the beginning of the week. Now you got to fly to Boston for one game, and then from there you got to pack up and head down to Tampa. It might take a game. I don't like the number 140, 142. I might lean Rays full game minus the 1.5, try to get some plus money out of it. Kind of, if you're looking for a Baltimore side, you might want to wait till Saturday and Sunday. Let them get their sea legs because they've been bouncing around this week.
I know I'm with you on this one. I mean the Rays are kind of trying to bounce back after they lost 2 to Milwaukee in Milwaukee. So coming home, I'm kind of with you as far as maybe aside for the Rays here. Next one up, going down to Texas, Seattle going into Texas. Kirby versus Spores. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. Is that any idea if that's a bullpen day for Texas, or is he going to be a starter in this one? No idea from you on that one either.
No, I don't. And I think Kirby got us. Who did Kirby pitch his last start against?
Yeah, I remember. I know I had something. He's been good lately, and has kind of been turning heads around the league. He was 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 Ks versus the Angels last time out.
I think they're really baiting us to take Seattle tonight. I can't get into the 150. I was looking at the run line. It's a flat 8 juiced over minus 15 cents. I'm not going to lay the 150. I think the rookie sensation is back tonight as well. I like on paper Seattle, but this could be one of those landmines, so I'm going to stay away.
I don't know if I trust Texas enough, but that kind of is what it seems like to me as far as, especially because I do feel like Kirby is starting to turn some heads, and after they did what they did to the Yankees, I thought this one would have been up around minus 170, 180 or higher. So this one stinks to me, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if I mean, not knowing enough about Spores is probably going to keep me away from it, but it stinks to high heaven for me. So definitely buyer beware on that one for me. Next one, Dodgers, after handling the Twins in L.A., go to Kansas City. Dodgers hottest team under the sun right now. Gonsolin got a little bit of a bounce back after a tough stretch, and he is facing Daniel Lynch, who has not been very good this season. Dodgers minus 260. Any way to get into this one if you like the Dodgers, or are you seeing something else for the Royals here?
Same thing. Dodgers team total over 5.5. I think that was around minus 110. You got to get the touchdown. Don't worry about the extra point or 2-point conversion. It's an under over of a flat 9. It's a lefty. I think Mookie and Trey will have a field day. You might look at a couple home run props over there. Look at all the righties there. This Dodger team 77-33. If my math is correct, that's 44 games over 500 right now. Just roll it. Now, listen, Kansas City's been pesky of late. They're putting up some run. The Valdezes of the world, the Bobby Witt Juniors, they're playing some good ball. I talked at length with Brady Tinker about them during the week. I'm not going to say they're going to go out and win tonight, but I could see a high-scoring affair. Gonsolin like 14-2 or something stupid. But I think both teams will score some runs. I think the Dodgers get the touchdown or better tonight.
Yep, I'm with you. But you said it. The Royals' peskiness right now is kind of would keep me away from paying a price on the Dodgers in this one, for sure. So I'll and maybe that's just because they beat up my White Sox ass for 4 straight days, but 3.5 days, whatever the hell it was. But next one up, I think the highest price on the board today, A's in Houston. Oler going into Houston to face Garcia. This is Oler's 3rd meeting versus Houston within the last month. 3 earned runs each of the first 2 times. And then Garcia, not terrible, but not good. The Astros have lost each of his last 3 starts. Are you buying Houston's offense for the 3rd time in a month against Oler, or is there anything to see here? Minus 350 on the money line. Any way to get into this one if you're liking the Astros?
I looked at the Astros again, team total 5.5 over plus money again tonight. I left them on the desk yesterday. They got a late 2-run homer, I think it was, to get to 7. They were stuck on 5. No, I really can't. This Houston team now 72-41, 31 games over 500. They have a 1-game lead right now over the Yankees. I expect them to win. You just priced out. I have nothing. If you were looking for anything, I think the first half minus the hooks minus 170. The full game minus 1.5 is like minus 160. I mean, it's absurd. The only way to scratch the itch, I would say, is take a swing at over 5.5. Hope they get the touchdown.
Yeah, no, I 100% right. Minus a half on the first 5 on DraftKings is minus 195 over there for the first half. And then I just looked as minus 105 for the 5.5. I'm not touching it, but if I'm doing anything, that's the only thing I'm taking for the Astros today. I think Houston facing a guy who's got a ERA north of 7, facing him for the 3rd time in a month seems like it should be some runs, but it wouldn't shock me if they won 5-1 or something like that. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Next one up, big matchup as far as the NL Central. Milwaukee and St. Louis. Cardinals got a half-game lead now on the Milwaukee Brewers, equal in the loss department. Cardinals 61 wins, Brewers 60 wins. You got Lauer versus Montgomery. You already mentioned the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies cooled the Cardinals down a little bit. Took 2 out of 3. We were spot on as far as the Rockies having some value in that series. Cardinals offense was fine in that series, but the Rockies bats outpaced them pretty heavily there. Brewers take 2 from the Rays at home. Lauer's been good last 2. Cardinals pretty damn good this year against lefties. And we've got a minus 175 line or 165 on DraftKings. Is that giving you some respect to the Cardinals, or is that kind of a tricky spot here and they're making you think twice about this one?
I think you hit it spot on. I was looking at a St. Louis team total. Montgomery, this is second start now with the Cardinals?
Yeah, first one was against the Yankees. I think this is number 2 here.
And I think they won 1-0 when he started the first game against the Yanks. It's a big series for both teams, as you said, for the division. The Cardinals with a 1-game lead right now. I just, there's some teams that leave Colorado, come home, and they leave their bats in Colorado. And there's some other teams that just keep it going. I was looking at a Cardinal team total. I backed off of that. I'm going to sit and watch this game, and I'm probably going to be pissed at myself because the Cardinals have done well against lefties, especially of late. Yeah,
no, you said it. It's really just too much of a price. Because they're a half game apart, and you're giving me a price of 165 for. I respect it, but yeah, I think I'm going to be pissed off as well for leaving this one on the table. But I lean towards the Cardinals, but I don't love that price. The run line at plus money is intriguing, but I could see him winning by 1 run for sure. So I'm out of this one. I'm going to be watching this one, but yeah, that one's a little tough as far as the pricing there. But now moving on to the Rockies. Rockies hosting Arizona, still in Colorado. Home team Rockies, still a winning baseball team at home. Davies and Senzatella. However, the D-backs just took 3 out of 4 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Take that for whatever it's worth. Davies' last outing, I think both of these pitchers faced the opposing team last time out. Davies' last outing, 0 earned runs at home in Arizona versus Colorado. Tell me if I'm wrong to like Colorado's offense in that situation, seeing this guy for the second time after what they just did. I don't know that I trust Senzatella, but I'm at least interested in Colorado's offense here tonight.
No, and I think you're right. And Arizona 51-60, Colorado 50-64. I don't have any faith in either starting pitcher. Both offenses playing great. It's a 12 over 20 team totals. I think you can get Arizona over 5.5, and I think Colorado is almost at 6.5 tonight. Which again, they're telling you need the touchdown in the extra point, which is a lot to me. I think if you're looking for some beer and popcorn and pizza money, you take the over and see if you're supposed to get some regression from Davies here.
Yeah. No, this one's interesting. They're really pricey out of this one. You have to go either aggressive on the Rockies if you like, or either team if you like their offense in the first five over 3.5, which is I like the over 2.5 at plus money, but they're giving each team over 3.5 at plus money, which can be tough in the first five, and then each team on DraftKings. I think before the show I saw over 6.5, but right now both of them at over 5.5 at -130 and -140. So I'm not paying a tax on a full touchdown, but I think the Rockies offense blows up tonight. But like you said, and like we're saying, I'm not paying that tax for a damn touchdown there. But I do like the Rockies offense.
No, I agree. And we were spot on earlier against the Cards. We cashed some good tickets there when they were big dogs in the over. And we had a team total as well. I mean, I had a team total on the Rocky. No, we had the over 12, over 11, and they made it in the third inning. So we had a good series with them. It'll be interesting to see these two teams just battling it out.
Yeah, the run line at plus money is what intrigues me, but like we were saying, I don't trust Senzatella enough. I mean, the Rockies could have put up a 10 spot and lose 14-10, so yeah, that'll keep me out of it. But I want to find some way to get into this Rockies offense tonight. But yeah, I'm not sure if it'll happen. I think two more left on the slate for the later games here. Minnesota and the Angels. Mali versus Sandoval. That is Patrick Sandoval for the Angels. Angels just swept the Oakland A's. Take that for whatever it's worth. Twins, 3 straight losses right now. Last 2 to the Dodgers. You can take that for whatever it's worth. Might not mean much to you at all there. Traveling to or staying in that area, obviously for the Twins case, going to the Angels. Sandoval, rough July. I think it was like a 6 ERA or something like that. Bounced back last time out against the Mariners, 0 earned runs. If you take away that July, he has been one of the underrated pitchers in the league, I would say, this year. But obviously, you can either think he's bounced back and he's going to continue following up that momentum, or you think he's going to regress back to what he was in July there. And this is second start for Mali in this for the Twins here. 4 earned runs versus Toronto last time out. I'm drawing a blank on the numbers here. Minnesota -135 on the money line, somewhere in that ballpark. Is this one too going to be true for the Twins? Are you liking the Angels, or is this a more of a toss-up in your eyes here?
It looks like a Friday night special here. It's down to 126 at our friends at Westgate, John Murray and them goofing around with that line. You know, listen, we've talked about the Angels. We've talked about their back end. We've talked about how they have mailed it in. And I don't know if you saw this, by the way. Otani looking for 50 million per, and you know the funny thing about it is if he's going to be an ace and a Cy Young and he's going to be Godzilla at the plate, you're paying these guys 40 million. So you're getting them for 10 million to pitch. I mean, I don't think it's crazy. I don't.
No, by no means. I pay you, give him a blank check and to let him decide how much he wants to make. I mean, if you're not gonna trade him and get a king's ransom for him, then you got to obviously capitalize on the marketing that he brings. So, as far as this game is concerned, would I be wrong to be liking the? Because I like Sandoval. Like I was saying, I like Sandoval. If he's gonna be on, maybe a first 5 Angels at plus money. If you're going anywhere on the Angels in this one.
100%. That's where I'd be looking. I wouldn't have to worry with the bullpen.
No.
I'd take a swing if you want some late night action with the Angels first 5 on that side.
Yeah, no, I like it. One way or another, either Sandoval, nice game, or maybe even beating up Mali a little bit in that one. But either way, I like the Angels first 5 in that one. And then last one up, another huge price on this one: Pittsburgh and San Francisco. San Francisco 54 and 57. They've got Carlos Rodon on the mound tonight. It is about -275. Any way to get into that one, for me, that's for a losing baseball team, that price is outrageous. Doesn't matter how bad the Pirates are for me. I'm not touching that one. Anything from you out of this one? It seems like no.
No, and Ron, don't you go in there minus a half run. What do they got for minus a half run first 5? They probably got it around -160.
175, -175
Yeah,
for the first
I mean,
half,
you're
yeah.
getting priced out. Brian Wilson, Flip Wilson, Russell Wilson. I don't know what the hell does it matter?
Right, and it's they're giving you -125 at the run line. That's a little stinky to me. So if either the Giants are choking this one and they're throwing you a smoke screen, or they only win by 1 run, I don't know. I'm staying away from this one 100% though.
No, I agree. And again, they're just pricing you out. And I enjoy when they price us out because that's when the dog comes running and all those guys that said, the hell, it's only juice if you lose. Well, God bless you because you're going to be broke on Saturday morning.
Right. No, 100%. I'm not touching the Pirates after what I saw from them, but I'm 100% with you. If I'm going anywhere, maybe I'm throwing out the Pirates for sure. But I think that just about covers the MLB slate, my friend. Anything else to mention before we move on?
Um, I'm just going to jump to the FedEx Cup for a second. I was talking to
Okay.
some colleagues about it, and the first weekend is those guys trying to get into the top 70 so they can play the next tournament.
Yeah.
So you got the Strakas of the world, you got some of these other guys in the world. Tony Finau, as much as we gave him shit forever, this guy has just been in another planet of late. Is he going to win the FedEx Cup? I doubt it, but he's been playing lights out. Your guy, Mr. Scheffler. Let's talk about your guy for a second. What was he thinking? Or obviously he wasn't with that move when Cam's looking at a putt and he just walks across it.
It seemed like just a little bit of bitterness came out of him there. I don't know other than that. I mean, pretty fresh as far as the news that we've been talking for weeks now that Cam Smith's probably going to go over. But obviously the press conference that he gave, whatever Wednesday morning or whatever it is, was pretty cryptic. That he's obviously taking this money, and we've seen reports that he is. So I think it's just some bitterness. And Scotty, it seems pretty damn loyal to the PGA. It was weird though. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next hole he was high fiving him for chipping in, or not chipping in, but getting that eagle shot from however far he was. So obviously bizarre, but it just seemed like a little bitterness to me. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it.
Yeah, my one and done this week was Hovland. I had Hatton and Lowry still available, and I was cursing myself. And then I see Hovland come out with 3 straight birdies. I'm like, okay. And I go over to DraftKings. He was like it was plus 1,200 to win this tournament. And then he goes double bogey. So I'm just like, you little shit, you.
Yeah.
But what are you seeing so far in the first 2 rounds? Anything catching your eye?
Yeah, so they're still going right now. Tony Finau only a shot back of the lead. He is through 11, I think, right now. They're still rolling here on this Friday afternoon. Scheffler was one of the guys I was interested in, kind of at a spot where I wasn't, he's been well rested, obviously kind of either regressed or coasted the last couple of months. I was kind of under the impression, and he's kind of slipped a little bit today, so we'll see what happens the next couple of weeks. But I was under the impression that maybe he would be saving some energy over the last few weeks to lock this down and make sure he wins this damn FedEx Cup. But that's I don't know if that's looking like the case. He seemed pretty outwardly frustrated a couple of times, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Spieth was another guy who has had a couple of top 12s at this course, been playing well, but isn't playing that well. Billy Horschel, 8 out of 8 cuts made at this course, and he is kind of on the fridge and not making the cut. So this has not been one of my best weeks by any means. Cam Smith was one of the guys that I was interested in as far as having a nice weekend, well rested, also in contention of the FedEx Cup, and doesn't seem to me like he's going to be too phased by the talk of the LIV. Obviously hasn't really been over the last month in the first place. So that was kind of where my head was at with him. But aside from that, now that we're seeing things kind of play out a little bit, Max Homa is 4 under for the tournament. He's still going today. I could see him having his Saturday and Sunday has been typically the weaker of the 2 days of his 4 days whenever he plays, but I could see him kind of bouncing back. And then there was Zalatoris is still fighting. He was 7 under today. He was fantastic today. I was interested to see what Schauffele did today. He's kind of hanging around. He's at 4 under. So I could see some guys tomorrow that are in this, top 40 range in this tournament right now. The Schauffele, John Rahm's kind of hanging around. He hasn't been playing well late. If he can put something together like he's had the last couple of days, I could see him having some value finally after having ridiculous odds throughout most of the season despite his play. Could be back in a nice swing of things. JT's kind of hanging around here, so a lot of big names. But like you said, there's a lot of guys that are trying to play themselves into whatever it is, top 70 for the FedEx Cup. So Tony Finau might be a decent bet to continue playing the way he's playing. But there's a lot of big names that I think could have a nice day tomorrow and put themselves into contention for Sunday morning.
No, and I agree. It'll be interesting to see the guys that make the cut that need certain scores on Saturday and Sunday to make sure that they're playing in the next weekend,
Yeah.
And some of the guys that know they're already in a Schauffele of the world, a Cam Smith, some of these other guys that are already top 50, top 40, it doesn't matter if they miss the cut. They just get to the next event a few days earlier and they can practice.
Right. No, 100%. And, I would put exception to Cam Smith with the noise that's going around him right now. I think he might want to prove that he's, you kind of smack people in the mouth a little bit. We'll see what he does. He might coast a little bit the next 2 days, but I think he'll be, I think he's pretty firmly making the cut right now. So, but no, totally. I could see a lot of guys that are firmly in there, just, kind of coasting here through the next couple of days. But I think Sunday morning we should have a clear picture. And I think tomorrow could be a really, really exciting day as far as a lot of these guys shooting pretty low throughout the middle of the day, I would say.
Well, schedule-wise, you'll be back tomorrow at some point in the morning. So instead of our Sunday pull the eyes down, we're going to have that ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
So you get moving day to figure out not only who's going to have a good moving day, but who's potentially, we'll go to DraftKings and see what the live current odds are and see if we could pull a few rabbits out of our hat there tomorrow morning. And then on Sunday, Scotty will be back for the breakfast bankroll, and we'll get everyone set up there. So tonight, again, we went through the whole board. Not an easy board. I think I'm leaning towards more team totals. I'm trying to pull a rabbit out of our hat here. Our dog of the day tonight was the Phillies over Max Scherzer. They'll probably end up with egg on our face there. A couple home runs with the two guys coming back to Washington with Soto and Bell there. Maybe they can ring the bell there. I do like the Padres team total over 5.5. I think the Dodgers get over 5.5, and then we're going to do some last minute spaghetti straining to figure out, what's going on with the Red Sox and the Yankees, Herman versus Ovaldi and a few others. So as always, thank you there. And remember, guys, two things today for the last time. Don't be the pizza man. Everyone knows what the pizza man is on Friday. Okay, don't come home with the cold pizza at 11 o'clock with the pillow and the blanket on the bed. Remember us, number one. Number two, if you are wagering and investing, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Have some fun today. Cash a few tickets. Have some warm, hot pizza. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.